Thank you. This is the Town of Ocean Ridge Special Magistrate Code Enforcement hearing. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. It is 10:01 by your time. We're going to call the order, the items on the agenda in the order that they're called, unless the town attorney has a revision.
Yes, could we swap those? So
Sure.
can we call number C first and then number B after that?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
I'll start with the adoption of the January 7th, 2020 minutes. I did have one question on page 1 of those minutes. I reviewed them prior to coming here. I believe that code section is supposed to be 62, it's referenced on the second page. I think that's carryover. I think that first reference you want to be 64-1. Town attorney, is that correct?
I think if it's on the vacation rental, it is
Yeah.
64-1.
Yep.
Yes,
So
I didn't.
I'll approve those minutes with that revision. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And now we'll move, as the town attorney said, to item C. Before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and swear everyone in who's going to be speaking on an item on today's agenda. So if you do intend to speak on any of these items, if you could please stand and raise your right hands for me. Do you all swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And we'll turn now to agenda item C, which is a violation hearing, case 2020-003.
Yes, Your Honor. This deals with 519 North Ocean Boulevard, number 9 in Ocean Ridge, Florida. These are a violation of section 67-51, 67-60, and 105.1, work without a permit. And what this involves, let me back up a little bit. And I believe you have the file in front of you. Is that correct,
I do,
Special
yes,
Magistrate? Okay. If I can, let me do this. See about the, let me show, Ms. Horrigan is a representative and co-owner of the property. Let me show her the file that we have with the attached exhibits. If you can, take a quick look at that. I think you've probably seen most of this.
If it's everything that I've been certified or
Yes.
I'll physically, yes.
Okay. So, Special Magistrate, I would like to enter the file into the record there. Let me go ahead and just do this.
Brian, she was not given the exhibits with the certified mail.
Okay, the exhibits, let me just make sure, the exhibits are the pictures.
Yes.
And you've seen that, okay. Okay, thank you.
And-
There you go. Okay.
And town attorney, can I get her name for the record?
Yes, Donna Horrigan.
And you said she's a representative?
She is a co-owner of the entity that owns the property, I believe, and Ms. Horrigan is nodding her head yes, so, yeah, just
Okay.
wanted to.
And do we need her at a microphone? Or how is that? Okay, so when she's going to speak, we'll have her back there, okay.
And so if I can, I would kind of like to turn this over to Mr. Cameron where he can explain the violation and explain what's been done to date and the kind of the reason we're here.
Sure.
Good morning, Your Honor. Wayne Cameron, building official, Town of Ocean Ridge. In February of this year, in responding to a complaint of work being done, I observed in one of the units in question at the premises, plumbing, electrical, drywall removal taking place in one of the units at 5019 North Ocean. The pictures are attached, showing the scope of work that was involved here. It was like a bathroom remodel, and this is roughly the size of an efficiency apartment. There was no permits for this work, which are required under the code. They did have a contractor, an individual, come in saying that he would be pulling the permits. However, he did not pull permits after this property was properly noticed.
And I don't know if you have any other any questions for Mr. Cameron?
I don't think I do at this time. Let me get through the rest of the
Okay.
case file, just give me one moment. And if, in the interim, if we could have the respondent approach the podium.
I have a file and who do you?
Now, is this something that you want the special magistrate to see, is correct?
Anyone, everyone?
Okay, got it, okay.
And ma'am, as you approach the podium, just a bit on how this works. So you've heard the town side. If you have any questions based on what they present, you can certainly ask any questions of any of the witnesses that the town has put on. You can ask me any questions. You can provide any testimony, any exhibits, anything that you want me to hear before ultimately ruling on this case. Now is your time to explain to me your side of the story, if you will.
Very good, thank you. Everything that Mr. Cameron said is absolutely true, except we were not doing drywall, we were not doing electrical, and we were not doing plumbing. My day job is, I have a design center in West Palm Beach, and I refresh design homes, condos. That's just what I do every day. So this property that I own, I had an exiting tenant that I asked to leave. So he left, leaving me quite a bit of damage. So he took the ceiling fan, holes in the wall, typical disgruntled tenant if you've ever had the fortune of being a landlord. If I had thought that there was a requirement for this refresh, I would have done that. I've always supported everything that Ocean Ridge has asked of me, or maybe just implied I should do. So I made 8 attempts to contact Mr. Cameron, in addition to 2 emails. If I had had direct guidance, I would have certainly complied. I received 2 sightings. One is February the 24th, and then there was a corrected affidavit that I received in April. So both of those affidavits are included in their package and my package. So in absence of direction, what I'd like to ask is the opportunity to perform whatever the city would like of me, but to give guidance to the contractor that I might contract with, which is the very last page, which is an electrical engineer. He says that perhaps Mr. Cameron is asking me to vault arc the devices, the smoky, and the bathroom. But I don't want to just willy-nilly. I already paid one contractor, and he said he wasn't able to determine what needed to be done. So he walked away with my money. So you can see my notice of commencement with West Palm Beach to prove that I didn't just ignore what the city was asking me to do. So in light of that, I certainly cannot afford $250 a day, but just guidance, and I'll do whatever you ask.
So first, I guess, does the town have any objection to the additional documents provided by the respondent?
No, Your Honor, we
Okay,
do not.
So I'll go ahead and add those into the record as Exhibit 2, composite exhibits of the respondent. And I guess my question is to you, as the building official, Mr. Campbell. Her contention is that, you can stay there, ma'am, but her contention is that she wasn't doing drywall or electrical or plumbing, but can you explain to me what the building code requires in terms of a permit and
New tile was installed. The new tile that was installed if you had the old sheetrock, it's not per code. You can't do tiling in the bathroom unless you've got a cement board or something of that nature, waterproofing to be applied for, to be attached to. The electrical and plumbing that was there do require permits from the standpoint of all, in 105.1, wherein any repair, renovation, plumbing, electrical systems require a permit. The guidance that can be provided is clearly available by contacting the clerk. You get a permit application and follow those guidelines. I did meet with the contractor. Unfortunately, he just never came in, and I'm sorry that he took your money and left. That also, you can follow up with a claim against that contractor with the state. If it was a state contractor, or a county, it was a county contractor. So that's the extent of it. I have no objection to her just applying for the permit, and that's all we would like to have done here, so we can proceed.
Okay, so your testimony here today is that not only does the building code, but also 67-51 says that for any renovation work, a permit is required.
Yes.
Whether it's electrical, drywall, plumbing,
Plumbing.
regardless, any renovation requires a permit. So your testimony today is that a permit is required for the work that you understand, that you have either seen or that she's testified to doing at the
Correct.
premises. Okay, thank you, sir. If I could turn back to the town attorney, what is the town seeking here today?
Oh, okay, the town has no objection to giving, adequate time for Ms. Horrigan or her contractor to apply for a permit or to get the guidance that the contractor needs in order to see which permit is applied for. And I guess I would turn to Mr. Cameron. Unfortunately, with social distancing here, I normally whisper in his ear, but since we can't really do that, so I'm just gonna ask him, is that like a 60-day, a 90-day? To make sure that they have plenty of time, because otherwise I want Ms. Horrigan to understand too, that if for some reason we're running close to the time, you need to come back in here to get an extension, because we don't wanna fine you either. So it's one of those things, so it's.
90 days is adequate time to apply for this permit because it's such a small
Right.
renovation. And get compliance and inspections and so on. So a permit plus inspections within 90 days is more than enough time,
Okay,
unless she has an objection.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you mean, she has 90 days to come in and apply for a permit, or?
She has 90 days to come for a permit, get the inspections that's required for it, not just apply for a permit and nothing happens afterwards.
So complete the
Complete
job?
everything within 90 days.
Apply and complete?
Apply, inspect, close out the permit within 90 days.
We don't have a motion, so.
I think we could, because I think what she's probably gonna say next is,
90 days.
she can do the time frame, but she can't depend on the town. She can't control the town's time frame in responding to some of the things that she's doing. So I think we would, exactly. So I don't think you wouldn't have an issue with 120 days. So I think the recommendation from us is 120 days to apply and to obtain, to basically complete the project and get a CO. Is it CC? Okay. Okay, get a CC on the project, and at failing that, a $50 a day fine.
Okay. I guess my question back to the town then is, once she obtains a permit, doesn't she have an amount of time under the statute? You cited her for failure to have a permit, for work without a permit. So in my mind, compliance is obtaining the permit. We can, so.
No,
what I'd
and
like to do
actually,
is-
that's a good point, because once she gets the permit, she's got 6 months to go.
So let's just do,
90 day, well, or
90
60
permit.
days, 60 days, 30 days.
How long does it take in town to actually obtain the permit? Because my preference, compliance, in my mind, means that she not only applies for the permit, but that she's issued a permit from the town. So what's a realistic time frame for the town, once she applies, to then be issued?
you get a permit within 30 days or something like this. Let's just do 60 days.
60 days, is that, okay.
60 days for a permit to be issued.
Ma'am, is that reasonable to you?
That's perfect. If
60
I could
days.
just have 5 minutes guidance from you in the next week.
Sure, yeah, Lisa will be able to, more than happy to, and, yeah,
Thank you.
definitely, she's available all the time.
Okay, so then 60 days to obtain, to have a permit issued
Issued.
by the town, and then failing that, a $50 a day fine. So if you start running into issues, you need to come back and request an extension, so.
And then we need to determine a fine assessment date after that 60-day period, so we'd be looking in the event that one is needed.
Right. August 4th, well, August, I guess is August 3rd, 60. I tell you what, rather than, yeah, because I'm not sure if that's 60, can we go September the, let me see, September 1? So I guess September 1, if
That's
we
fine,
can
that's the
do
date
that,
Yeah,
yes.
that's fine.
And then we also have the admin costs in there that, you know, we don't have a problem in, what, 30 days, or you want the same time, 60 days to apply for the permit, to pay for the admin cost that are associated with today's hearing.
And that's the 267.20, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, do you have any other questions? Do you have anything else you want me to hear before?
I don't mean to speak out of turn, but 267.20 is my processing cost for today.
That's going to be the administrative costs that the town has incurred to get this to hearing today, to get this matter to this hearing. Anything further from the town?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so in case number 2020-003, I'm gonna find that notice was sufficient. The town has good service on the respondent. We have actual presence of a co-owner of the property. I'm gonna find that the respondent is in fact, or remains in fact, in violation of section 67-51, 67-60, Florida Building Code 6th edition, section 105.1, for having done work without a permit. I'm going to give the respondent 60 days to obtain, be issued a permit by the town, or I'm going to assess a fine of $50 per day thereafter in the event that compliance is not achieved. If a fine assessment hearing is necessary, that will happen on September 1st of 2020 at 10 a.m. And the town has asked, and I'm going to grant them their administrative costs in the amount of $267.20 for today's hearing, also payable within 60 days. And you'll get an order in the mail from the town that sort of spells all that out. And with that, that's my ruling for today. Thank you. And Town Attorney, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, the next case is a repeat violation case. Repeat violation case number 2020-002, Ocean Ridge Paradise 120 LLC, located at 120 Dolphin Road, Ocean Ridge, Florida. And this is for violation of section 64-1C, Air Vacation Rental Ordinance, for leasing property or renting property for periods of less than 30 days. You may, and I think you have the file there, and if I can ask, is anyone here for that particular case, Ocean Ridge Paradise 120, located at 120 Dolphin Road? Okay, seeing no one. This is a case that I believe you ruled on in January, Your Honor, where it was before you then, at that point in time, for violation of this same rental code. You found them guilty at that point in time, and so that's the reason we're here for a repeat violation of the same instance. The file that's in front of you, we would like to enter that file into the record, and what that file provides, and that Officer Marsh will be able to testify here shortly, is that between March 14th and March 21st, that the property was rented in violation of our code. You have an affidavit from the person who was renting the property at the time. You also have Officer Marsh's affidavit or his probable cause showing the violation that took place, which is in violation of our code section. And I don't know if you have, I can have Officer Marsh testify if you wish, or if you have any questions to him regarding the documents. I guess if, Officer Marsh, if you can go up there, and I'll just ask you a couple of quick questions. That the affidavit that's presented was an affidavit that was given to you by the person who was renting the property at that time. Is that correct?
Good morning. Yes, it is correct.
Oh, and I'm sorry, can you identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. I'm Officer Marsh with Ocean Ridge Police Department.
What's your
Okay.
first name, sir?
Stetson,
Thank you.
Stetson.
And you also filed a police report or a citation report regarding this instance that is part of the file as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let me just read the police report, just give me 1 second. And so, Town Attorney, this was complaint driven, is that correct? And then the officers responded, is that how the chronology works here?
Well, let me see, I don't know, I guess, can you explain, I know you were.
I was on patrol. I'm aware of the property being rented. I was actually on patrol. Saw two women with 3 vehicles unloading food, clothing, and their kids. I spoke to them briefly if they were just renting the property or if they were just visiting. They said they were visiting out of town and that they rented the property for a week.
Okay, and your police report here says that they found this on HomeAway.com, that's how they rented it?
Yes, ma'am. It was the same way that they found that the tenants found the property last time that I was here for the magistrate. I met with the property manager. He tried to explain to me that they were family friends, but then later on, as we were interviewing the person that rented the property, that he was just lying.
Okay.
And Your Honor, if I can also give you, this is, I'm not sure of the definitions for the town, this is from Town Code Section 1-2, definitions of vacation rental and transient housing.
And the town's position is that this was both transient rental because of the duration?
Well, it's our position that it was a vacation rental that is prohibited under 64-1C.
Okay. And refresh my memory, I remember when there was somebody here, I don't believe it was the actual owner, but there was somebody here at the previous hearing, and they were actually given a time for compliance back then, and they complied?
Yes,
Okay. Have we
or at
had
least
any-
we
that's the
didn't have
town's
any
understanding.
violations in that time frame. Correct.
Okay. So in the town's mind, that the previous violation was corrected within the required time, and this is an
A new.
entirely new violation?
Yes.
Okay. And have we had any, has the town had any correspondence with the respondent or the representative?
I'm not sure. I think after the last time when the gentleman was here, and I think it's the same gentleman that Officer Marsh had probably spoken to.
Yeah, it's the same property manager. He says he works for the owner, but the property actually is from a LLC. So, and it's the same gentleman that's in all the CADs in the last few years that was spoken to, so.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, we have not had any interaction with him. I don't know, have we, had any interaction with the property manager at 120 Dolphin from the end of the last instance where they were in violation up until this current violation? No, okay.
No.
Yeah, it's my recollection at the previous hearing, you as the town explained to him what he could and could not do under the town's code, and that he was pretty clear with that, so.
And I think he even indicated then that the property was for
It
sale.
was being sold,
Yes.
that's my recollection as well, so, okay. And what
And-
is the town seeking here today?
Well, we are seeking the maximum amount, which is $500 a day, and if he rented it between the 14th and the 21st, I guess you can make the argument for 8 days, we'll go 7 days, so it would be 7 times the 500, which is $3,500.
Okay. And how did the town come upon those days, based on the affidavit of the renter? Or do we, I don't
Yes.
see any photos in the file, do we have any photographic evidence, or are we just going on testimony of those who were there?
the testimony of the people who were there, because I don't think the officer has any independent knowledge of, I guess, what was the date that you ran into these people? Do you know?
The date that I ran into the people was March 14th.
Okay,
I did work that week and I was on day shift, so I did see them throughout the week, stay at the property, but I never took any pictures.
Okay, but you did observe them
Yes, ma'am.
at the property for that entire week.
and then after the 21st, I guess, you did not see them, they were gone, or their cars were gone?
Yeah, basically she did call the station, just saying that if everything was okay and if she needed anything, and I told her that all we needed was the affidavit, which she filled out the day of March 14th.
Okay,
Okay, and so just so the record is clear, we do have the police report of the officer, his testimony today, and also the sworn victim witness affidavit from the renter, providing that she had a contract to rent the property for that March 14th through the 21st period. The only other thing I need from the town attorney is the previous violation order.
okay. I
Date.
have that. Yes, here, let me give you a copy. This is the prior order finding violation.
Thank you. Okay, and there's a second, yeah, this is the original file. Do you want the original file back into evidence, or just the new file?
If it would help, we can put, I mean, the original file's already, well, it's in evidence in the prior case. Let's go ahead and put it into evidence in this case as well.
Okay, give me a second, just to. Okay, the previous order's actually in there, so we'll leave that copy there. Okay, anything further from the town?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. In case number
Oh.
2000.
Sorry, we also have the admin cost as well, that we would like to have them paid within 30 days.
Okay, I saw your cost recovery sheet, so I assume that's what you were asking,
Yes.
in 30 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So in case 2020-002, this is a repeat violation case, I'm going to enter into the record two case files. The case file from the previous violation hearing for case 2019-009, as well as the case file for this current repeat violation case as composite exhibit 1. And I'm going to make a finding based on the record provided, the paper record, the document record provided, as well as the testimony of the town here today, that this property is in repeat violation of section 64-1 subpart C. This property was, or this respondent was found in violation back in January of 2020 for violation of the same code section, which is operating a vacation rental for a short-term period of less than 30 days as defined by the town code. I'm going to find in this case that notice was sufficient. The town has good service on the respondents. The testimony today is that the property was out of compliance or in violation of this code section for a period of 7 days. The statute does, for repeat violations, allow a maximum fine of $500 a day, so I'm going to give the town their fine, as this is a repeat violation. So for 7 days, I'm going to assess a fine in the amount of $3,500. I'm also going to assess the town's administrative costs in the amount of $208.15 for today's hearing, payable within 30 days. And with that, I think that anything further? from
Right,
them?
the only thing I can think of is, I don't know if you normally put in timeframes to have the fine paid. We would like that paid within 30 days as well. I don't know if you need to
That's
say
fine.
that or not, but
Yeah,
yes,
that's
if you
fine.
can.
So the
yes.
fine amount imposed today, the order assessing fine will indicate that the $3,500 is also payable within 30 days. And again, that will all be memorialized in an order, which, be sure that this property owner gets a copy of that so that they know that they have
Yes.
again run afoul with the town's code. And with that, that concludes my ruling on this case. Anything further from the town for today's hearing?
No, Your Honor, there are no other items on the agenda.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn at 10:32.